Hello, everyone, and happy Wednesday. We're so excited for all of you to be here. And I don't know what everybody's doing this weekend, but if you're celebrating 4th of July in some way or form, I hope you have a very, very fun weekend. And for those of you watching the World Cup, yay! All of our different countries, many of them continue to move forward. So that's also exciting. And we have a couple of exciting tournaments happening, games happening today. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But anyways, we're here today to talk about coaching and why it's something that if you haven't heard of, you need to learn. And if you've heard of it, you need to get into getting a coach because it's something that it's not only because Anna and I are coaches and obviously we love it, but it's also because we find that it's been something essential that many of us need all the time, even us as coaches. Like we have other coaches as well because we recognize the benefit of it. But it's very important talking about sports. In sports, people have coaches all the time because they're the ones that help you become better. No matter how good you are, they're always there, that second pair of eyes, that second pair of ears with specific techniques and ways to help you, just push you to become better and overcome certain challenges. And that's the same in life, as a leader, as a professional, as an individual, as whatever it is. Definitely having somebody that can walk through that journey with you makes it so much better. But we keep pushing it aside. It's something that people reach out. I don't know, Anna, about you, but people reach out to me and then they're like, oh, well, maybe later. Oh, well, maybe next week or maybe next month or maybe next year. And then they come when like the glass has already broken to trying to like that's you to help you to pick up the pieces, and you're like, well, we could have prevented that glass from breaking if we would have chatted when we initially chatted, but okay, let's go, right? So I think it's something critically important. But Enna, thank you so much as always for being here with us today.
Ileana, it's always amazing. I always have a great time chatting with you, and thank you for inviting me to your Cafecito event. I enjoy being able to talk about the things that we've been through and the things that have helped us throughout our own personal, both personal and career growth occasion. And as you said, right, how many times do we get that call when at the beginning and then they kind of put it off, and then when they come back it's like, oh my god, this guy is falling, how do I solve it now? And you're like, oh, we could have avoided this, you know what I mean? But this is why we talk about it, and this is why we share the importance of having a network. And coaching, a lot of people, I think about coaching as something that you just need for career growth, and that it's just based on leadership. But there's so many different types of coaching. You got grief coach, there's wellness. There's just someone there just to help you navigate. You're going through a divorce. You're going through so many different things, and we should be, if anything, I want people to take this as an opportunity to learn about the different types of coachings that are available to them. So again, thank you for welcoming me into your event, and I'm excited for our conversation.
I love it. And you're absolutely right. Coaching is something that we need when we're going through transitions, any kind of transition. When we're heading into the transition, where we're in the transition, and when we're after the transition, right? Because we can't expect, although we're amazing, we're all amazing, but we need that other person that in some way has been there, done that, or has the tools or the strategies to be able to help us through it. And that it's different than a mentor, and it's different than a therapist. And I do want to clarify that because sometimes I've seen that people are using, different types of strategies to try to help them through these transitions, and that doesn't work, and then therefore they have a bad experience or whatever, but it's because you're using, or we're using the wrong approach to it. So I think I would like to start there with understanding, because you're a great mentor as well. And so in being able to define the difference between having a mentor, having a coach, and then having a therapist, which is something that we're definitely not. And if you need therapy, you need to go through, you need to go to
Yeah.
somebody that is an expert, right? That is
Yes.
licensed to do that. And that's critically important. And we can work together. We can work in tandem with these other experts, but we need to be clear on these, like,
Yeah,
different.
no, for sure. Absolutely. And I think most people are really common and understand a mentor, right? Or they hear the term sponsor and how you should navigate those relationships, right? I've had so many amazing mentors throughout my life, throughout my career, who have always kind of been on the lookout for me. And I've always said, hey, Anna, tap on your shoulders, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Or here's an opportunity for you. Here's something that you should come join me at, right? And these are mentors that are guiding you, that are helping you sort of navigate whatever situation you're going through, again, whether it's personal or professional. And then I've also have equally have had a number of sponsors, and these to me have been those individuals who have mentioned my name in rooms that I was not in, who have created opportunities for me to enter tables, boardrooms, events where I could have never have dreamed of ever being at before, right? And so those are two different things that I think is we often mix them together. But then you throw in the coach, right? And now a coach is someone that is really in the trenches with you, someone that you're able to call and talk to, say, you know what, today I can't get out of bed. Or, you know what, I haven't slept in 3 days because these situations are stressing me out and they're keeping me awake. And I'm just having a really hard time navigating the internal churn that is happening. And how do I navigate sort of that motivational or not the motivation to be able to do the things that I need to do, right? And so that coach is going to help you think about how can you manage your emotions, how can you manage that stress, and how do you manage that situation through, as you mentioned, the various transitions that you're going through. Um, you know, so yeah, so that's sort of how I sort of define or differentiate between those three.
I completely agree. And I think with the clients that I've worked with, sometimes you have a client that has all of these, right? And you just become another critically component piece in this support group that we should all have. And then the other thing, I think, and you mentioned it at the beginning, is a coach is not a one size fits all, right?
Yes.
You need to have a coach that's going to help you through the experience that you're going through. So
Yes.
if it's well-being, then you need a well-being coach. If it's presence, then you need an executive presence coach. If it's I need to find a new job, then you need a transition like you need a coach the way you need a doctor. Like you would never go with what a dentist if you need heart surgery, right? Like it's the
Right.
same thing with coaches. Like you need the coach that will help you through the process that you're going through. And as a coach, I think we have a commitment as well to our coachees to be able to let them know, like, this situation that you're going through is not something that I would serve you,
Mhm.
but here's, somebody else that can, right? So how do you, I mean, not from a coach perspective, but from the audience perspective, looking for a coach, what have you seen as how do they go about selecting a coach or reaching out to a coach? Especially right now, I think there's so many coaches out there. Like, what have you seen as a best practice for somebody looking for a coach?
Yeah, I mean, right now, what I see a lot of people doing is obviously they attend conferences, summits, sometimes a webinar, and they hear someone talk, and they'll relate to that story, the journey that someone's going through, and based on that, they'll be like, "Oh my God, let me reach out to that person because I connected with their story." That is probably the primary way that people are finding that right person for them, but it's a hit and miss, you know. You're certainly doing your searches online and trying to find that person that's maybe in your city or in your vicinity, or maybe similar groups that you're in, trying to find a space for them. But what I've learned throughout my career is that it can sometimes be challenging, and you don't always know who is that right person for you. You don't always know what exactly you need until you see someone and you hear their story, and that allows you to really understand what is the right thing for you. And so, with that in mind, Eliana, that's why I've created this event called the Coaching Experience, where it really allows individuals to get a taste, get a feel for different coaches that are out there, and experience these coaches through some mini coaching sessions. Actually, walk out of that room with a live coaching event, and potentially be introduced to coaches that they have never seen or have never have had access to. And so, I think, events and like myself and the things that you do through your own coaching practice, putting yourself out there is the way that people can find coaches. I'm pretty excited and proud to have been able to co-create this event with my co-host Clara Angelina Diaz, who is also another fabulous coach in herself. And so we saw a need. We saw an opportunity where people, to your question, right? How do you find that right coach? How do you experience that coach? How do you know who is the right person for you? And so we're hoping that through these events, the coaching experience event, which is a curated in-person event, gives our attendees an opportunity to better find a coach for themselves.
I love what you're saying, especially the part about trying a session, right? The majority of coaches, I don't want to say all of them, but many coaches, we offer discovery sessions or
Mhm.
consulting sessions or whatever. Like each person, um, chemistry calls, like each person calls them differently, but they are, 20 to 30-minute calls, and it is a coaching session, and it's to get to know each other and to get to your point, to experience what coaching would look like with that person. And I would highly recommend anybody that's interested in looking for coaching to always look for those sessions. They normally should be free for everybody, because a coach is not only the expertise that they bring to the table, but there's also has to be some kind of, to your point, connection, right? Like there's this thing that you can't put your finger on, but that you like empathize, connect, like you're like, yes, this is the person that I can open my heart to, because that's what's going to happen with a coach. Like you need to feel that you can tell them everything,
Yes.
and there's not going to be judging, there's not going to be anything, there's just going to be, this welcoming, okay, I've been there, done that, let me help you through this process. So I think that's important. I love what you and Clara are doing, because Clara is also an excellent coach, and the group of coaches that she has is spectacular. So we're definitely like looking forward to that. Now, how long for somebody that there's one thing that we're seeing, and we were just chatting before we started, that a lot of people are right now struggling financially. They're struggling because they're going through very tough transitions, or
Mhm.
they're struggling because they don't have time, right? I need to focus on just work because it's insane, and I can't like not focus on that. And so they keep pushing coaching aside.
Yeah.
And how do we, what should people be thinking about? Because I think it's a mindset shift of saying, this is not something for tomorrow. It's something that I need to do today, and I need to carve today the time to do it because of. So, what are you seeing, or what do you recommend?
Yeah, no, and Elena, I mean, you so correct, right? The reality is we are currently going through one of the most emotionally tumultuous time of our lives, right? At least for this generation. Between everything that's happening, people are losing jobs, people have, so many issues with families. People are still dealing with so much diagnosis, health issues, right? And in a world where we have no idea what the world is going to look like tomorrow, what additional, challenges will be presented, how are we carving out time to protect our hearts, right? How are we carving out time to release, and to talk to someone? What I have seen is the, when you're going through the starting point of that, I just don't know what to do. I'm going to start to spiral. You're sort of going inwards and trying to analyze and assess everything. That's the point where you really need a coach. That's the point where you really need to start talking to someone, and because you want to catch yourself before you go down that spiral, before you're heading downwards, and then it's going to take a huge uphill battle to pull yourself out of that. Now, granted, coaches can come in at any single time, right? But usually we would rather work with you before you go down, before you go over the edge. We want to help you so that we can hold you back and you don't have to, kind of pass that line. So I mean, I find myself in conversations where, like, okay, what can we do now to protect your heart, to protect yourself from actually getting to the edge, right? And that's where coaches, I think I speak in plural for everyone, but I think, we love to be able to work with our coachees during that initial phase to kind of prevent them from getting to the edge. Um, so, I just think it's one of those things that we need to do more of. And personally, Eliana, we've known each other for such a long time now. There's so many role models, so many people that I think we both have in common, that we certainly look up to. But we've each, I'm sure, in our own times, and I'll speak for myself, I've encountered those low moments, and it's been those people who have been part of my journey, part of my story, who have seen me in those high moments, who have watched me when I have been at my top of my game, and they have helped me come out of those low moments because they seen what I'm capable of. And to me, that has been the best reward of working with coaches.
You're absolutely right, and I love that because I think the it's always been, but I think now more than ever, um, this belief that we need to show up and smile, right?
Mhm.
And show up like nothing is happening, and show up this strength. Um, because if not, then people might think something different. You might not get the promotion, you might not get the business, you might, right? But
Yeah.
a lot of us, I would say, I think the majority of the people that I speak to are crumbling inside, are like, I'm hanging by the end of the thread of the thread of the thread. Like it's not even the
Barely.
first one. Like we're getting to that little end, and the problem is when we let it break.
Yeah.
Because to your point, like that's when now you need something more than a coach. Like you need a community to be able to hold you, and a lot of different experts. So I think it is important to recognize that yes, we're strong, we're resilient, we have grit, we're powerful Latinas, but we need help. We need to ask for help, and we need to invest in ourselves in order to do that.
And I
What?
would add, Eliana, sorry, I would add that it's important for us to give ourselves grace and to
Yes.
give ourselves permission. Literally, give yourself permission to just be,
Yeah.
and that it's okay, right? You don't always have to be on your A game. You don't always have to show up with makeup on. You don't always have to be like, oh my God, I got everything in place. Um, I think we, and especially, women tend to put so much pressure, added pressure on ourselves because we feel the need to always show up correctly, that sometimes we're not being truthful to ourselves and to our audience and the people that is following and following us, right? Because they want to see the real you. They want to see that vulnerable you. I think these past few years for me has been years of evolution. I have had high highs and I've had very low lows. And those, near and dear to me have seen those low moments, and I'm okay with that because that allows someone to realize, yeah, things get rough. It's okay. We navigate that process, and we can come out on the other end as winners, as evolutions, new people, right? Because we have reinvented ourselves into that next version of you. And so to me, it's really important that our audience understands that it's okay to sit in that moment for a moment. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to cry. Oh my God, how many times do people like, I can see the tears, just let them go, right? And it's okay to do that. And that we need to do more of that. That if there's anything that anyone's going to take away is please give yourself the grace and the permission to just feel and be in that moment and sit with that, and then go to sleep, and wake up tomorrow and be like, hey, guess what, tomorrow is a new day and it's a chance for me to create something new today, and go conquer the world.
I love what you're saying, but it's not an easy thing to do. Like it's an easy thing to say, and I've been in that situation as well. Like I know the benefit of coaches, and still sometimes I'm like, yeah, I can do that myself.
Right.
Like, why should I reach out to so and so if I can figure it out myself? And I think that's where the biggest loss is, because you're
Mhm.
losing precious time that you could have spent, you know, figuring things out, and so the loss is larger than what you think you're saving from not reaching out to somebody.
Yes,
So
totally
as
agree.
so as we get like closer to the end of this cafecito, what are the like key things that you think people need to think about as they're looking for a coach? If they go to the session that you're hosting, like what are the questions that people need to have in mind? Because I've seen a lot of people just reach out and they're like, I don't even know what I'm looking for. I don't even know like what to expect. And that is a little bit of the challenge sometimes as well. So what would you recommend for people to think about or to ask questions when they're looking for a coach?
Yeah, I mean, I think, first and foremost, you need to ask yourself, what do you want help in? Right? Because you need to at least be able to provide some guidance, some direction, right? It could be personal, it could be career, it could be anything, right? But at least have a bit of what is it that you want help with? That in itself will allow you to assess who is the right person for you. Um, and then you want to be able to think about, does that person have the background, the stories, the kind of have they also gone through something similar, because you want someone that's been through it as well. You want someone that has the experience to be able to talk about things. And then does that person have sort of do you have that how do you describe it, just like that, that there's like that thing that you're like, oh my God, that's my person, like I connect with that person, like yes, we got the right vibe, like I get that person can get me, right? There's something that you just know, when you meet someone, it's like, yes, I really like that person. And unfortunately, there's people that you're like, no, that's not I just can't connect with that person. And so you need to determine for yourself, what is it about someone that you feel will really help you connect with them. I personally like to focus on identifying what is it that I want some help in, identifying who the people are, what experience they have, where have they been, what are some of the things that they've gone through, because that allows me to know whether that person can also match sort of my experiences. And then the final thing is that person going to get my humor? Is that person going to understand, my background? Are they going to understand that my community, right? Because oftentimes when I'm talking with a coach, I'm doing Spanglish. And that for me is really important. If I'm talking all in English, I can't be really me because it doesn't work for me. But to me, that's important. That may not be important to someone else, right? And so you have to figure out what is it that when you are being raw and honest, what do you need that other person to be able to have for you to get to that vulnerable stage? So those are the things that I think would be important as you are exploring and looking for someone to connect with. And Eliana, as you said, this is an opportunity where you're going to be vulnerable. You're going to be sharing all your information. So you have to be able to meet with someone that you trust. That is truly the number one key to assessing and having a successful coaching experience, is someone that you're going to be able to trust.
Absolutely. I love these. These are really great points. And for people, you hear it here, you can come back, you can take notes as you prepare, because it's critically important. And if you still have no idea, that's okay too. Like I always tell people, let's just start the conversation and we'll get to the end. No worries. Like trust me that we will get to the end of it. But if you've done a little bit of thinking before, it just makes it, a little bit better journey to get there. So,
Absolutely.
Enna, thank you so much. Any final like words, any final things that you'd like to share?
Well, as always, Ileana, it's a pleasure being able to come on to your, United Latinas program. It's a great organization. I'm excited to be part of it. And I would like to invite your audience or our audience to join me and Clara Diaz in our upcoming event, the coaching experience. It'll be July 30th at Simmons University. You can find the links either on my LinkedIn page or my Instagram page, and you can find me at both LinkedIn and Instagram under Enna Jimenez, or you can go to my website and find me at ennajimenez.com. And again, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to just have a cafecito with you.
Absolutely, and we'll make sure to add the link to this recording as well, so that people, because there's still time for people to
Yes,
join.
yes,
So
yes, yes.
awesome. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Anna, for being here with us, for sharing your knowledge and your insights. It's always a pleasure. And to everybody, we have so many things happening through the second half of the year. Make sure that you are nominated, or that you nominate yourself for the Extraordinary Latina Awards. We have the top 50 over 50 awards, so make sure that you're in those, or that you nominate somebody as well. We want to make sure that we have as many people as possible, because everybody in need is extraordinary and they need to be spotlighted and recognized. We have our save the date for our Hispanic Heritage Month virtual conference. That's on October 14th. You'll find registrations on our website, so that's coming up as well. If you want to be in our Extraordinary Latinas Volume 6 book, send us an email at hello@unitedlatinas.com, because we're starting to have a call for authors for that book as well. And then we have our magazine. We launched it last year. You can find it on our website, the Latina Trailblazers magazine. And we're starting to build the one for this year, the special edition. So if you want to be featured in that magazine, also send us an email at hello@unitedlatinas.com. So many things that are happening through the second half of the year, and we have also a lot of different coaches as well. A lot of our members are amazing coaches on a variety of things: finance, well-being, real estate, leadership, executive, corporate, like business, anything that you need. So also check us out there. So thank you so much, Enna, for being here with us, and thank you everybody. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week wherever in the world you are. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye.